Teresa. I hope you're doing well today. Sorry, it's kind of bright outside. There's way better light outside than there is in my house. If I could just bake outside, it would be great, but my oven's in the house. So anyway, today I want to make a rum cake from scratch. I've been researching this recipe. I have two, and I'm gonna probably try to combine them, but the one I'm gonna really go with is the yellow cake mix from the Cook's Illustrated baking book that I like to use, and there's quite a lot of steps, so I'll be as thorough as I can and try not to make the video too long, but I sure hope you enjoy, and thank you for watching. The first thing I'm going to do, well, first of all, I preheated my oven to 350. I sprayed my pan. Hopefully that's good enough. The recipe calls for sprinkling it with sugar, but I'm afraid that it's going to stick. But I have 6 large eggs, and I'm going to separate the yolk from the whites, and in this bowl I'm going to put the yolks. This bowl I'm going to put 3 whites, and this bowl I'm going to put 3 whites because I only need 3 whites to whip up for the cake batter. So I'm just going to start separating my eggs. I probably should have done this when they were cold, but the yolk goes in here. Sometimes it can be a little tricky, and you definitely cannot get any yolk in your egg whites or they will not whip up. So I need one more. Oh, this one didn't crack very well. And you can also just use your hand to separate it too. So that's for those 3. So I need to separate 3 more. Like this recipe has quite a few steps, and I had to broke out both mixers so I could hurry up and beat my egg whites without having to wash the bowl and everything. Oh, this one cracked beautifully. That hardly ever happens to me. And I'll save these egg whites for something else. If anybody has any requests for certain kinds of desserts or anything really, I'll be happy to take requests, and if I know how to make it, I'll be happy to do a video on it. Okay, so that's my 6 egg yolks. So now we're gonna rinse my hands and change positions. I'm gonna move you to the other side of the kitchen. The way my kitchen is arranged, it's gonna be a little hard to do, but we'll make it. I just wanted to show you, I had this rum. It's called black rum, but it's a gold rum. It looks like this, and it calls for 1/2 cup, but I don't have enough, and I bought the wrong kind, so I'm just going to use this one. And she doesn't specify in the sauce that you put over the cake if it has to be gold or dark, or just you just don't want to use a spiced rum. So I need to make this 1/2 cup, so I'm just going to combine them. Okay, so that's done. Let me throw this bottle away, and then we'll measure the dry ingredients. I'm just going to do, this is 10 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to melt this in the microwave and make sure it's not too hot, just for about 20 seconds. Melted right here. And I wanted to show you, this is, I don't know if that's going to show up on camera. I bought this flour off of Amazon. I think it was about $10 a bag, but I wanted to try different cake flour. I read the reviews, and this cake flour got a lot of good reviews, but this is the first time I'm using it. It's called Pure as Snow cake flour, so I'm excited to try it, even though I have a ton of flours already. But let's mix the dry ingredients, and I'm sure you know how to mix the dry ingredients. And I will list the ingredients. It's going to be quite a few. I don't know if I'm going to be able to list the instructions to the recipe, but I will tell you that I got this recipe from Gimme. It's called Gimme Some Oven, and I'm going to follow it pretty closely. So we need 2.5 cups of cake flour. So I forgot my butter knife. And then after we mix our, actually, I think I'm just going to put this in my mixer bowl. So we need 2.5 cups of cake flour. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I'm a little nervous today for some reason. Sometimes I get like that for new recipes, and then I make a mess with the flour. I like to fluff my flour up a little bit and get a little air into it before I actually scoop it out. If you scoop it, and it makes a mess, but that's okay. It's easy to clean up. If you scoop it out too hard, you might get too much flour. And I'm trying to I really want to try this recipe to see if it's not as dense as some of the cakes I've tried. And I did get this flour everywhere. Mercy. You just can't cook without making a mess. And I have a hard time, like when I shut the camera off, I have to hurry up and clean up because I can't take the mess very long. It makes me have anxiety. I got this everywhere. Okay, now we need 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to put the whole teaspoon because I used unsalted butter today. Sometimes I use salted butter. And we need 1 1/4 teaspoons of baking powder. And just measure this and just scoop it like this. Okay, we're almost there. And let's see, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. I like to keep my baking soda in a little container. Always make sure it's fresh. Okay, so that's our dry ingredients. We're going to take a little whisk and whisk this together. It didn't say to sift it, so I'm not going to sift it. Okay, let me clean this up and then we'll go to the next step. I forgot, we're going to also add the sugar to this. And we need a total of 1 3/4 cup. We're going to use 1 1/2 cup for the dry ingredients. And we're going to use the other 1/4 cup for the egg, beating the egg whites. Okay, so that's the sugar. Mix that all together. Okay, now I'm ready to put this in the mixer. I'm going to put the egg whites. I'm going to start them on. And I'm going to, when they start getting a little foamy, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of cream of tartar. I find it just helps the egg whites beat a little better. And I noticed my red mixer is a little bit more quiet than my green one. So I'm going to beat these, and then I'll show you when I'll start adding the sugar. You see they're pretty foamy, so I'm going to start adding the sugar about a teaspoon at a time, and I only have a 1/2 cup to add, so it shouldn't take long. I don't want them, you don't want to overbeat them. That's all I got. Good. Hope I didn't overbeat them, but did you see how stiff they are? They're nice. The peaks, see the peak? That's what you want. And you want to get it all off of your whisk. I know it's annoying, but you need to get it all. And I got some on the top. So this is the first mixer I had, and then I wanted something bigger for bread. And so I have this green one, but I used to have them both out on the counter, but now I just put the red one in a storage place. But I do use it. So, okay, enough talking. Let me move to the next ingredient we need for the wet ingredients. Are 3 tablespoons of oil, and I only have canola oil, so I'm just going to use that. Oops. It's so hard to be exactly perfect for cakes, but you really need to be. And sometimes I am, and sometimes I mess up a little bit. But I love to try new recipes. I just, and I've been looking for a rum cake. I'm so excited. So, okay, now we're going to take all the wet ingredients and mix those together. Let me double check my instructions, and I'll get right back to all of our wet ingredients. So we have the oil, the butter, the 1/2 cup of buttermilk, the half cup of rum, and our 6 egg yolks. So we're going to pour, since this is the biggest container, I'm going to pour all my wet ingredients in this bowl, or measuring cup, with our oil. I was surprised that it was melted butter. I haven't tried the yellow cake in the Cook's Illustrated book that I talk about a lot on my channel. I love that book. And a tablespoon of vanilla extract or vanilla paste. I'm just going to guess. I just can't believe how much vanilla has gone up. It's outrageous. And I really love the vanilla bean paste. I need to learn how to make my own, I think. Okay, we're just going to combine this. And our next step is we're going to turn, okay, now we're going to finish mixing in the egg whites. You just want to fold them in gently. It's thinner than I expected. Okay, that looks pretty good. Because you don't want to overmix either. And the instructions were to sprinkle sugar at the bottom of this pan. I'm not going to do that. I feel like it's going to... She says it makes it not stick, but I feel like it's going to make it stick, so I'm just going to do it my way. Oh, I forgot. I'm also going to add just a few of these walnuts in my batter. And this is the bundt pan I'm using. I don't really know how many cups it is. It's the Nordic Ware Anniversary pan. I'm sorry if you can't see me pouring it. I don't have a good angle right now. And this is going to bake probably for 50 to 60 minutes. But you want to keep an eye on it because you definitely never want to overbake your cakes because they're just not good when they get dried out. And trust me, I know because I've done it more than once. And I can smell the rum in here. I'm trying to get it all out. I try not to spill it like that, like I did. Brad, can you give me a paper towel, please? I'm going to wipe that off because I don't want it to burn on there. So I'm going to do that, put it in the oven, and I'll let you know how long it bakes. It's still really hot. I baked it for 45 minutes. I took it out when they had just a few crumbs on the bamboo stick, these. And it feels nice and soft. So now we have to make the rum sauce. So in the pot, I have 1 stick of butter, which is a ½ cup. I'm also going to add a 1/4 cup of water and 1 cup of granulated sugar. And the only other ingredient is a ½ cup of rum. I'm actually going to add a 1/4 cup because I want it to be not too strong. So that a 1/4 cup is good for me. And I'm not sure if I'm going to add vanilla yet or not. But once it starts boiling, I'm going to boil it for 5 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to take the skewer right here and take the cake and just poke a bunch of holes. Actually, I'm going to use this end. Punch a bunch of holes in the cake so that it will absorb the sauce. So I'll get back to you. Up to a boil. So I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. And then we'll go to the next. To show you also, you need to keep stirring it because you do not want the butter to burn or the sugar. And once this boils for 5 minutes, we're going to take it off the heat and pour the rum in slowly because it might boil up a little bit. But I'll show you when I do that. I have about 50 seconds left, and you can see it thickened up a little bit, and it got a little bit darker. but we're almost there. Remove it from the heat, and we're going to gradually stir in the rum. Ooh, it does boil up. I might should have a longer spoon. I'm going to stir it in slowly. And you can leave the rum out if you wanted to. There we go. I'm glad I'm only adding half because it's a very strong flavor. And I'm also going to add about a half teaspoon of vanilla extract because it goes so well with butter. And that's almost the end of my favorite jar. But I have more. Okay, so that's the sauce. I'm going to pour this into a measuring cup. And then we're going to pour it slowly over the cake. And I'll show you how to take the sauce. And I'm just going to pour it very slowly. I poked quite a few holes in here. And I'm going to take my time. I'm going to pour some. Stop. Wait a few minutes. And then I'm going to pour some again. And I'm also going to save just a little bit for the top. So I'm going to let that soak in for about 10 minutes, and I'll be back. Just a tiny bit more. I think I missed some around the edge. And the rest I'm going to save for the top. I should have made a little extra. And then we're going to turn it out into a serving platter and let it cool and do a taste. Okay, now we're going to see if it comes out of the pan. And it did. It's got a couple little spots, but for the most part it came out. And I may poke a couple of holes in the top to pour the sauce. Actually, I think I'm going to save a little bit of the sauce for the servings. I'm not going to pour all of this on top because it'll just run off. So we're going to let it cool a little bit, and then we'll do a taste test. And I have a feeling this is going to be a very good cake with my new cake flour that I'm trying. I'm so excited. I'll be back. Okay, here's the cake. We cut it, and it looks light, not dense. I poured a little extra sauce on top. See, if you save a little sauce, you can just pour a little bit on top. And I'm so glad I added the walnuts. I actually wish I would have added more. Let's see what it tastes like. Sorry. You can definitely taste the rum. I might would hold back just a little bit. But the texture is amazing. Even though there was more steps involved with the beating the egg whites and separating the eggs, the texture is amazing. Now I want to try that yellow cake recipe in my baking book. But it's so good. Oh yeah, you definitely need to try this recipe. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't. And I want to thank all my new subscribers. I hope you enjoy this video. And like I said earlier, if you have any requests, if I know how to make it, or if I don't, I'll learn and make a video. But anyway, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.